female superstar Bec Hyatt joining us here on Pull No Punches Radio. Bec, how you doing tonight?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Good, thank you. Now, first and foremost, we just heard some pretty big news going on for you, in the MMA world. Why don't you tell us a little bit about it and what's happening with you?
Yeah, things have been getting really crazy today. I woke up this morning at 5 a.m. to an email from Invicta saying opponent change, and I'm like, oh no, my stomach sunk, and I'm like, not again. And as we opened it, it said, would you fight Caral Esparza for the title? And it turns out Claudia has broken her nose, 5 different bones in her nose, and has to have surgery. So, and they were hectic, frantically looking for a replacement for Carla, and had offered the fight to a few girls, including my old opponent Joanne, and everyone turned it down. So, and I'm not the one to turn down fights. I just took advantage of the opportunity, and I can't wait to get in there and mix it up with Carla. It's going to be fun.
So that's a pretty good news story to hear. You wake up, you immediately assume the worst, and it actually turns out to be best case scenario for you. Ain't often that happens.
Yeah, it's like I automatically thought, oh no, my opponent's injured or something. But yeah, I was stoked, absolutely stoked.
So this will be for the 115-pound title, correct?
Yes, yeah.
Gotcha. Now, short notice, I know you got a tough opponent coming up. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your opponent? And, obviously being a title fight, was there ever a fleeting doubt for you that you might reconsider?
No, there was no doubt in my mind that if I was going to take it or not. I just had to talk to my trainer and that, and pretty much just let him know before I agreed to fight, just so he didn't, wake up to Facebook telling him that his girl's fighting for the title. I've been training hard anyway. Like my camp has been the best it's ever been for Joanne when I was preparing for Joanne, so nothing's really going to change. But Carla is definitely a big, huge step up in competition. She's amazing. I always watch her fights, and I was stoked to actually be getting the opportunity to meet her, let alone fighting her. So, yeah, I just can't wait to actually get in there and actually have the chance to fight for a title. That's just crazy. I never thought it would come so soon. But like you said, when the opportunity comes knocking, you can't turn it down.
Absolutely. Once certain people don't look at it that way, but it's good to see you do. That you only get one chance, really. You only get one opportunity. And let's be honest. I mean, outside of Ronda Rousey, the MMA world is looking for that next big thing, that next big superstar. And so far, you've got a lot going for you. I mean, you've got the personality, you've got the fan following, you've got the look. I mean, so really, this is I'd like to call it a win-win situation for you.
Oh, that's exactly right. Like, there's nothing to lose. There's everything to gain. I'm expected to lose. Everyone's already saying, oh, this is a terrible matchup, blah, blah, blah. But at the end of the day, fighters are going to fight, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to turn down a fight, and I'm not going to let down the promotion that did everything to bring me over. Like, it costs a lot of money to bring an Australian over to America to fight. So they helped me out by signing me, so I'm going to help them out and save the main event. So I'm just really excited, really.
Absolutely. Now, Bec, if you could, tell us a little bit about your background. For those that don't follow your career, that don't know you, that are just getting to learn about you through, through this title shot, through this broadcast. Tell us a little bit about your background. How'd you get involved in MMA? And if you could, give us a mini biography about yourself.
Well, first off, my name's Hyatt.
Did I call you Wyatt again?
Calling me Wyatt, guys. What the hell?
Here's the reality. Okay, I'm watching the gunfight at OK Corral on here, and I've got like the Wyatt brothers on the mind. So yeah, I guess I could get your name right. I guess one of these days I'm gonna get your name right, Wyatt. Don't mind me. I've been punched in the head one too many times, right?
I've had that too, so it's all right. That's my excuse all the time. A little bit of background on me. I'm 23 years old. I've got 2 children. I've got a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old, so training gets a little bit hectic, trying to look after 2 kids and prepare for a fight. But also my husband's an MMA fighter as well, so it's 2 fighters and 2 crazy kids that we have to deal with. I started training nearly 2.5, 3 years ago, but then I had my son in between, so I haven't really been training for that long really because I had to have a bit of time off. And I had my first fight in October 2011, and I got knocked out cold. I ate the biggest head kick ever and got knocked out, but I've come back and won 4 straight wins since then, and just being, knocking down everyone that they put in front of me. So, and I'm just really excited to step up the competition. Was really excited to fight Joanne, but now I'm even more excited to fight Carla. So, just tune into my fight. You won't be disappointed no matter what happens. I always say sometimes you're the nail and sometimes you're the hammer. We'll just have to wait and see which way it goes.
Talking to Bec Hyatt here on Pull No Punches Radio. I got it right that time. I swore I would get it right. But Bec, you got 2 kids. I can imagine that you got a husband who's an MMA fighter. Yourself one. I can imagine your kids don't get bullied very much. I can imagine. I mean, have you taught them a thing or two?
My little one, Ensign, he's the little fiery one. He definitely doesn't get bullied, but my 4-year-old, he gets bullied around by the 2-year-old. So it's kind of hard to tell them, hey, don't do that when they're at the gym and they're watching mommy and daddy do it. So it gets interesting. But they definitely know how to handle themselves.
Yeah, I can imagine sooner or later they'll see mom and dad on TV, and they can actually wear them shirts that say my mom can kick your mom's ass and my dad can kick your dad's ass, and sooner or later they'll have the background to show it. They can actually, believe me, here's the tapes to prove it.
That's exactly right. They're not talking shit then. They're actually, they're legit.
So your husband's a mixed martial arts fighter. Well, what's his name?
Dan Hyatt.
Dan Hyatt. Okay, gotcha. I'm assuming you guys train together. Do you ever have competitions? Okay, well, I'm going to finish. Who finishes their fight faster? I mean, is there a little bit of a competitive balance in the household between you guys?
And everything's competitive. Everything's competitive, especially when we train together. It gets a little bit nasty because, of course, he beats me, and I'd take it personally. But there's always competitions.
A couple questions from the chat room. Aaron Pegason wants to know, well, what type of game plan will you use against Carla to be successful?
I'm going to go out there and let my hands go. I've found that a lot of girls go out there and they're scared of that double leg. They're scared of the wrestling that Carla has, which is amazing. Like, she's an amazing wrestler. She's an amazing MMA fighter. But a lot of girls go out there and they don't go out and do what they want to do. So that's definitely going to be in the back of my mind. It's always in the back of my mind for every fight. I'm going to go out there and fight my fight. I'm not going to be worried about what they're going to throw at me, because what's the worst that's going to happen? Like, I get double legged or I get knocked out. Who cares? I'm going to get in there, have the fight of my life, and entertain the crowd, and that's all that I care about.
How do you think this fight will parlay your career? And I know you're one of the ones take it one fight at a time, but how do you think this fight will better your career in the long run?
I think it's a win-win situation, really. I lose, nobody expects me to win, and I win, then sky's the limit. I'm the title holder, so it's definitely, this is the best opportunity, and that's why I didn't pass it up.
Now, Bec, we've recently seen, obviously, women have a big impact in the MMA landscape. We see women now in the UFC. More and more, I can imagine, as we see fighters like yourself, like the Ronda Rouseys, like the Liz Carmouches of the world make their impact. Would you say that Invicta can become that stomping ground for the UFC if they decide to add more women's division or add to that 135-pound weight class?
Most definitely. Invicta is absolutely the best thing that's happened to women's MMA. And it's only going to get better, bigger and better. So I think even like some girls will choose to fight in Invicta over the UFC. That just says something about the promotion. They're awesome. I haven't had any. They've looked after me so well. So I'm just grateful to be fighting for such an awesome promotion. And definitely the stomping ground. Like, I'm sure Dana White and the rest of the UFC guys have got their eye on all the girls coming up in the Invicta if they're really keen about getting in some more divisions and building women's MMA like they say they are.
How would you say women's MMA has evolved over the last couple of years, and what ways do you think it still needs improvement?
Definitely needs improvement. We still cop, the slack on the internet about girls should be in the kitchen and that's a funny looking kitchen and all that stuff. But it's definitely getting better. People are starting to respect our skills and not just our looks and personality. Of course, personality and looks and being able to be marketed also helps. But people actually, hey, hang on, like, these chicks can fight. These chicks are exciting. I prefer to watch these girls because they're not, they're not going out there to try and not lose. They're actually going out there to win a fight and to finish fights. So it's definitely improving, and people are starting to to catch on that we're here to stay and we mean business.
Well, do you ever feel like sometimes the sexist, perverted men's society? I'm one myself. I'll admit I look at women a certain way. But do you think that there'll ever be a day where women are judged for how they fight, not so much how they look?
I don't know. It's it's a hard one. I'm a girl and I judge people by their looks sometimes, so it's just hard. It's just human nature. But they definitely, if they recognise your looks, they definitely recognise your skills. If you're good enough, they're gonna recognise you for your skills. But I like to be known for my skills. That's why I don't put up any sexual type photos. I don't have my tummy and my boobs hanging out and everything else, because I want to be recognised for my skills and for my fights, not for my ass and my tits. So I don't know. It'll get there eventually, I hope, but I'm not, I'm not dumb. I know how guys' minds work.
I guess you could say sex sells. I mean, and honestly speaking, and she's great. I mean, she has got in there and kicked ass and taken names, but and this is no dog on Cyborg, but if it's Cyborg, it stays with Cyborg as a dominant female. I don't know if we're seeing women in the UFC right now, and that's not a knock on her. I mean, that's not a knock on her at all. Yeah. She's a great fighter, but let's be honest, Ronda Rousey, good-looking gal, talks a lot of shit, and she gets in there and backs it up. I mean, that's to me, that's a selling point, and some capitalize on it. I will admit, some of these women, like Felice Herrig, is one that really takes advantage of her status, shall I say, her assets, for lack of a better term.
Her assets, yes, most definitely she does. I think Ronda Rousey is amazing. She definitely has the mouth to back it up, and like you said, like Cyborg probably, she's been on the scene for a long time, and Dana White still didn't want to buy her. So sex definitely sells. So I don't think Ronda Rousey really sells sex. She just sells her personality and her looks. She isn't really getting her body out and flashing her booty around. So there is a line, and I call it selling your soul. I have photographers ask me, will you take a photo with your crop top on and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, no, I'm not selling my soul. Sorry. And they give me the weird look, but they get over it.
See, I can appreciate that because, there's some women, and I know one of the women's fighters that we had on here before said, whereas I'm not afraid to admit I have it, I also have 2 kids, and I don't want to put any pictures up to where my kids are going to question me for it. So I can appreciate both sides of the fence. I really do. And, it's one of those things I think sooner or later, like you said, we're going to see sooner or later we're going to see enough good-looking women make their way up the ranks to where men are going to, say, all right, we're looking forward to the fight, not I'm trying to think of a nice way to put this, but not the nom crap that you see, that you see most men give now.
Yeah. I think it's just nice to see women that actually look like women, getting in there and have skills and they're actually athletes. Like, it's hard for people to tune in when they're watching women's MMA fights, but half of them look like dudes. It's like, really? So I think that's another reason why everyone loves Ronda Rousey, because she's a normal-looking chick. She's a athletic-looking girl. She looks like a girl. You don't question if she's on steroids. You don't, she doesn't get questioned about that. So I think definitely that helps as well.
Hey, Marcus, you and I have discussed that many, many, many times before about women who may not necessarily look the part, and it's almost. Yeah. I'll give you a case example. Go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I mean, it looks like somebody found a real skinny, muscular dude and shaved him down and threw a wig on Cyborg, and I have no. There's not one part of me that wants to watch a girl that doesn't exude any feminine qualities whatsoever, and go in there and she's always, I don't know what it is, she always looks twice the size of anybody who she fights, and it would be like all the time watching Alistair Overeem fight,
John Dodson,
or something. Yeah, I don't want to watch that. I don't want to watch that. Yeah. And so, but when you see, like, I actually just got done watching Bec Hyatt's her highlight reel, and it's awesome. Like, real fighting, and it's not like it doesn't look like a girl getting in there that's coming off a tough man competition or something. It actually legitimate hands and feet, and not only that, I mean, watching her highlight reel, she's showing that she is proficient at MMA, at everything. She chokes a girl unconscious in there. She has a great armbar submission in there. It's perfectly executed, and then tons of overwhelming with just busy punches, putting punches and kicks and everything together. And then what I really liked is actually at the end of it, what she mentioned, how she took that kick to the head. She actually shows that last clip of that, and then has a statement afterwards saying sometimes you're the hammer, sometimes you're the nail, and that's something that I've heard for years. But I really like the fact that was put on there. You're an asset, not just for women MMA. I mean, for MMA period. I would enjoy watching you fight. Where I've said before, in certain circumstances, I don't want to watch women fight, but you're very, very entertaining, and I think that you're going to be an asset to not the way the other girl was the asset either, but I mean, because you're fighting ability, because you're fighting. Not saying that you couldn't be, but saying that I'm basing this completely off your actual abilities. And if anybody wants to see that, you can find her highlight on YouTube. But it's also, I actually found it by just typing her name, and I found it on the SureDog forum and one of the threads, and she posted it on there. And it's an enjoyable highlight. So if you get a chance, look for Bec Hyatt's highlight reel on YouTube.
Yeah, that's Hyatt, not Wyatt, like I called her the first couple of times. Hyatt, like in the hotel. See, I'll get it right before the end of this interview. I promise you, Bec. I promise you. But the one fight I always think about that go along with Marcus's comment there. I brought this up on the show before, but like the fights that I don't like to see, like the Jan Finney, the Jan Finney Chris Cyborg fight. And I'm not bagging on Cyborg. The girl was she was the Anderson Silva of women's fighters, no question in my mind. But you look at those two women, the eyewitness test, and it almost, to me, that fight was like watching a grown man beat the hell out of a kid. I mean, it really was. And I admired Finney's heart. I admired her fortitude. But to me, it's nice to see women, shall I say, that are on equal playing field fight. I guess is that the most politically correct way I can put that? I mean, that they're on an equal playing field. I don't want to say that they don't look like women, but that they don't look like women. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. No, you put that nicely. You got to the point that it was put nicely. It wasn't hating on Cyborg. But, it definitely wasn't a nice fight to watch. I didn't enjoy that one either. So I'm feeling you.
Appreciate that. Now, we're talking to Bec Hyatt here on Pulling Up Punches Radio. Marcus, you have any questions for her?
No, I mean, you did a real good job with bouncing questions off of her. I'm interested in maybe being able to catch this fight because, just like anybody, you like to see that matchup every now and then of the I don't want to bill it as the striker versus the grappler or the wrestler, but, in this case, obviously you have somebody that's going to just try to push the wrestling and then somebody that's trying to keep the fight action-packed, standing up. And sometimes those fights can either be the best fights ever, and other times they can be the most boring fights ever. And by saying that means that if the wrestler gets to take you down and just kind of dry hump you for round after round after round,
yeah.
God, I hate that. But I wish you the best of luck, and it would be great to see you pull off the win, become the champion, and defend that title with exciting bouts like you can obviously provide for Invicta.
Thank you. I can't wait to get in there.
So you do got a couple of questions from the chat room. Sorry to cut you off, though. Feel free. I didn't mean to interrupt you there. Sorry about that.
Oh, I'm done, man.
Okay.
Let's go to the chat room.
Got a couple of questions from the chat room. These both are from Aaron Pegason. Looks like he's a pretty big fan of yours. He's been firing questions left and right, and fortunately, our main man Ryan's been keeping me up the track because in my old age and getting punched in the head, I can't pronunciate names right or keep up with chat room stuff. But he wanted to know 2 parts. Number one, which fighter are you most excited to meet when you get to Kansas?
Most excited to meet. I'm actually really excited to meet Gus Ratton. He's going to be calling my fight, and I can't wait.
Yeah, that doesn't suck either. Getting Boss calling your fight, that's pretty. It's the best in the business there. Best in the business. My apologies to Goldberg, but definitely the best in the business.
Yeah, he wears a lot of makeup too. You'll be surprised when you see him because I see him all the time, and man, he puts on the eyeliner and the foundation and all that. He gets himself all prettied up. Who wears more makeup, him or Amanda Buckner? Oh God, stop. Let me tell you, he is just as funny and as as outgoing as he is as you see him on as you always see him goofing off on TV. Good guy. Definitely. And the other question, and Ryan, what was the other question in the chat room about the state of Australia? You still with us, bud? I know Ryan's keeping track of the chat room, is filling in for me tonight. What was the other question Aaron had for us, bud? You lost him. I think so. I don't think David Crom didn't like the comment about Amanda Buckner too much. He gave me a big what the F and on Facebook chat. So my apologies to Miss Buckner. That wasn't an insult. It was a bad joke. But check the chat room. State of Australian fighters. He wanted to know state of the Australian fighters. Do you think that you're going to be, do you think you could be a pioneer for women's fighters in Australia? And who are some of your favorite fighters from that continent that you follow?
Yeah, most definitely. I think a lot of girls are following in my footsteps, but there was always the pioneers like Mandy Stewart, who I've been training with. She fought in America back when there was still, she had to send her VHS footage of a fight over there, so on a VHS, so that was years ago. And Fiona Maxwell, who's fighting on New Year's Eve against Marlos Conan, she's an amazing Australian fighter, and she's representing us girls too. So there's definitely a few other girls that are around that aren't just me. So definitely look up. I've always looked up to Fiona Maxwell. She's awesome. She's a mad fighter. So it'll be interesting to watch her fight and tune into that one too. Gotcha.
Well, Bec, we certainly do appreciate you coming on with us tonight here on Pull No Punches Radio. Hey, let's do this again. I definitely enjoyed it. And real quick, social media, website plugs, and sponsor plugs.
Yeah, follow me on Twitter. It's at Rowdy Bec, and my Facebook.com/RowdyBec. Oh, and I've got a website now too as well.
Oh, go ahead.
www.rowdybec.com. It's all the same. So it's nice and easy to remember.
So we got Rowdy Ronda and Rowdy Bec. Check out the new great Rowdy and MMA. Bec Hyatt. Bec, thank you so very much for joining us. Good luck on January 5th. Not that you're going to need it or anything, but good luck on that. And definitely come on and talk with us again sometime soon.
Thank you. I'd love to come back. Thanks for having me, guys.
You got it.